if you follow this channel, you realize that I like to do challenges, and I like to do things that are difficult, not in the sense of challenges of, the sort of contesty kind of things that you see like Mr. Beast does and things like that. But I like to sort of stress myself in various different ways. So in the summer, I learned how to do scuba diving, which was a really fun experience. I want to do more of that. And I got certified, I guess is what they call it. This is fun. And then I'm also learning a new language. I'm trying to learn Italian, and I've realized just how difficult it actually is to learn, right? So learning is one of these things that's interesting because you go through a lot of moments where you just feel tremendous amounts of frustration, and then there's other moments where things sort of come closer together. And I think sort of biologically, if you think of a lot of processes that we actually have in our body and how we sort of respond to things, it actually comes in waves, right? It's not necessarily, so I think about things like hunger, for example, or, the feeling that you have to go to the bathroom. None of that sort of is a linear thing or sort of built up, but it's kind of a wavy thing where you feel sort of a wave of hunger, and then you feel like a wave that you need to go to the bathroom really strongly, and then it disappears, and it can't disappear for a while. And it's the same thing that I'm experiencing. I've experienced this in many sort of moments in research, as that I do. That's my job, is I'm a researcher. I try to sort of do discovery things right now. What I'm doing actually this summer is teaching students, and I have that opportunity to do that, but primarily I'm supposed to be doing research all the time. And when you go through and you do a lot of this stuff, you go through these sort of weird waves, right? Like any sort of learning, any sort of discovery, much like these sort of other biological processes, you go through moments where you just have like a lot of clarity, and then it disappears. And then you go through moments of clarity, and then it disappears. And you think that you get it, but you really don't. And I think this is true for most things I experience. And as you're going through that, I want to sort of just explain as you're feeling it, right? So there's a difference between actually going through it, and then the sort of feelings that you have, right? So for me, I get a tremendous amount of frustration, and I feel that sort of like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I sort of feel the pit of my stomach where it's just not great. There's a lot of sort of desperation kind of feelings that you have. There are moments where you can't pick it up. There's demotivation. All of those kind of things is sort of on the low. And then on the high side, there's actually not a lot of like peaks, right? It's sort of pushing at the envelope. I think about, there's a really good movie, a documentary that I watched a number of years ago. I think it was Free Solo. And it was basically how somebody, I can't remember the guy's name, but how he climbed, one of the sort of steep mountain in California. Hopefully somebody will actually put that in the show notes. But it was like in sort of considered an impossible climb, and he did this without any ropes or anything like that. And there's this sort of moment where they spend months and months and months getting through this one sort of difficult technical problem area that they're really struggling with. And you can just see them, they go and they work through this thing, and it's like this really complicated combination, and all of a sudden they have to do the one technical hard part to get there. So, it takes an hour or whatever to go through this technical, all the easier part, and then you get to the one technical part, and they couldn't do it. And, they repeatedly did it, until eventually it clicked. And I think about the sort of frustration that you feel with that, right? Is that it's not necessarily nothing the sort of learning process, the doing things that are challenges, the sort of way, and I love Mr. Beast. I think he does really interesting, fun stuff. I'm not a knock on him. But the sort of pop culture notion and the sort of Mr. Beast notion that these things happen very quickly, they evolve like very, very instantaneously, right? The sort of competition thing is a quick thing. That's not true. It's slow and painful. Everything is slow and painful. And if you have this sort of belief, everything that you do, no matter what it is, what the sort of challenges that you are pursuing in your life, if you have this sort of belief that it's going to be slow and painful and it's going to suck, I think you're going to be more likely to stay with it. So for me, I had a bit of a commitment contract with this, right? The commitment contract is I made this public. And I've been putting out these sort of videos every once in a while of me trying to talk in Italian. It's horrendous. There's nobody in my family that's Italian, and it's just something. I just want to learn it for no other reason than that. I'm in a just location that made it conducive to learn another language. So, I just want people to understand if you're doing anything and you're learning anything and you're pursuing stuff, right? Whether you're in the research game, I know lots of people follow this channel that are doing that, or you are just learning in life. Maybe you're somebody that's older, for example, and you're going back to school. I know lots of people watch my channel because of that. Or, you're really just having a new take on life. I just want you to know, if you have this mindset that everything is going to be stinking difficult and it's all going to suck, the whole process is not going to be fun, but you get up and you do it anyways, I think you have a much more informed, a much more, this is all right, sort of view on things. So don't imagine anything is going to be easy. So for me, man, I don't know if I'm going to continue doing the Italian thing, but I'm going to keep doing it for a while, at least for the time that I'm actually here. And, maybe some time after that. But I have noticed I do understand things a little better. I speak in sort of short moments. I'm certainly not fluent. And I think to become like that, it takes months and months and months. But I do know that I'm okay with the grind. I'm okay with just pursuing things because it's difficult and it's a challenge. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.